First of all, welcome to spring. I know it was the last week, but it really feels like it now, right? Enjoy the day? Nice. I made sure I took my nephew to the walk on the trail along the river and enjoy nature. We can finally do that now. After a long and hard winter, I heard it's going to be a little bit cold on the weekend again, but soon we'll have lots of days like today. So I hope you enjoy that time with your family. Go for walks, enjoy nature, and enjoy family time at the same time. So, a few things to talk about today. As you can see, Amit Singh is still awake. No worries though. We'll do our best, as we always do when he's awake. He gave me that responsibility. Hopefully he'll be back next week. So I have a few things to discuss today. I'll connect it to last week. I think I had mentioned to you about the movie that was going to be opening up. Actually, last week it opened up. So I had talked to you the day after it had opened. Anyone remember what movie that was? Gayatri, yes, very good. Gayatri was the name of the movie. How many people got a chance to watch it? Anybody so far? Yeah? So, okay, arrange. Good. That's it? Okay, all right. Well, I was hoping a few more people would have watched it so we could discuss it more in detail, but I do want to touch on it. Maybe I'll create some interest and make you want to go see it, because I'll be honest, last week when I recommended it, I hadn't seen it yet, and I wasn't sure. In the past, sometimes I I'm now a little reluctant to recommend movies I haven't seen, because sometimes they turn out to be a little bit different. And so आज वाली movie जो खुली थी, केसरी पिछले हफ्ते खुली थी, I was concerned about a few things. First of all, it's a Bollywood movie. The topic, of course, is Sikh history, but it is made by Bollywood. The main actor is not a Sikh. He's a very famous actor, but he's not a Sikh. And of course, it's in Hindi, being a Bollywood movie. So I was a little bit worried. I didn't know कि किस तरह दी होनी है. Maybe we'll get comments from anybody who watched it, and then I'll share my own as well. What do you think, Harman? Was it nice? You liked it? Yeah. You went with your school? Just on your own? With your siblings? Yeah, good, good. Anybody else see it? किसी और ने देखी है? क्योंकि होने तकरीबन 1.5 हफ्ता हो गया कि लगी है, अजय भी लगी है काफ़ी थिएटरों में अपने सिल्वर सिटी, ब्रैम्पटन, कोर्टनी पार्क, स्क्वायर वन. It's in many theaters, and it's doing very well, by the way. Anybody else see it? किसी और ने देखी है? Okay, so there's something for you to do this weekend. Enjoy a good movie, because I'm glad to say that I can recommend it. It's not perfect, of course. Obviously, I would prefer if the dialogue was in Punjabi, but if you look at the overall message of the movie, it was, first of all, quite accurate in what they showed, and they did a very good job of showing the character of a Sikh, right? So all the way from the lead, who is played by Akshay Kumar, probably the most famous actor right now in Bollywood, if not number one, close to the top. A few things about him I didn't know. First of all, he was actually born in Amritsar. I don't know if anyone knew that. And he actually did a lot of his schooling at Sikh school, Guru Nanak Public School, I believe. So that really comes through in the movie, because the kind of respect he has for Sikhs, even though he's not a Sikh, you can see that. He does his best to portray Sikhs in a very positive light, and he does that. He shows them to be honorable, he shows them to be brave and strong and caring. All the qualities you think of when you think of a Sikh. This actor, he shows those qualities, right, in this role. And he plays Havildar Ishar Singh, who was the leader of this group. First of all, what's the story about? Let me see. Even if you haven't seen it, you must know something about it. It's about, I'm not asking for a synopsis of the movie, but it's about a battle from our history. Does anyone know what battle that was from Sikh history? The name of it? That's right, the Battle of Saragadi. Anyone know where Saragadi is? Is it in Punjab? Yeah. Yes. There you go. It's on the border of Pakistan and Afghanistan. Okay? So it's in that area, and there's always been a lot of tension, a lot of violence in that area. It's just, I don't know historically what it is about that area, but it's been a very rough place to live. And where this story begins is the British have, of course, conquered a good portion of India and Punjab, and now they have control. And the last group that the British had to overcome was who? Does anyone know who? Who else can tell me? I want to see some new hands. So we got 1, 2, they answered. Or koi dasse. ਜਦੋਂ British ਨੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਰਾਜ ਚਲਾਣਾ ਸੀ India ਵਿੱਚ, what's the last community that they had to defeat? The Sikh community, that's right. So, and even that happened when Maharaja Ranjit Singh was alive? No. After Maharaja Ranjit Singh passed away, and we didn't have a good succession plan, and he didn't, there was a lot of, you can say, sajish, a lot of treachery going on, and because of that, the Dogras, and they managed to kill off a lot of the people who were supposed to be taking over this empire, the Sikh empire. The Odinal empire, Sikh empire, kamjor ho gaya, and the British were finally able to defeat the Rajas who were left, the Sikh Rajas. The one thing that came out of it, though, was the British realized that this is one really strong and tough community, right? ये कहते उन्होंने ये समझ लगी कि कौम ये बहुत बहादुर ने, बहुत दलेर ने, ते बहुत वधिया सिपाही ने, right? They're really good soldiers. So what the British did is, they're smart. They don't hold any grudges. If they can see अपने भावें अपने दुश्मन ਵਿੱਚ भी उन्होंने कोई चीज दिसदी है ना, they use that. So what do? They got smart, and they, after fighting the Sikhs, they recruited them and started using them as part of the British army. Okay, so you had different regiments, and there was one regiment there stationed at the fort of Saragadi, and that was the Sikh regiment number 36. They were stationed there. Their job was to protect this fort, and there were 3 forts on the border of Afghanistan. It was actually in between 2 other forts. And so this one, there wasn't a lot of, you can say a lot of fighting or anything like that. So does anyone know how many were there, stationed there when this battle happened? Oh good, all the hands go up. Yes?
21.
Anji, yes, 21. Good. So, Iki apne Sikh sipahi sige at Saragadi, and they were part of the Sikh regiment number 36. They were stationed there, that was their job. So this movie is about those 21 Sikh soldiers who were in this fort, and while they were in this fort, the Pathans decided to attack. They wanted to take over all 3 forts, and they decided, let's attack the weakest one first, because we'll be able to take over one by one. We'll take over all of them. You have your hand up? Yep.
In the movie, they said that they were gonna take it over by noon,
Yep.
but they took it over by like 5 p.m.
Very good. Yes. I'm glad you touched on that. I'm going to come to that in a moment. So the Pathans, they decided to get together. They convinced other groups in Afghanistan, hey, let's go and attack these guys, and hey, we're going to beat them, no problem. And right? They were so confident that we have so many, we have, whatever, 10, 12,000 men. They have just a handful, and very soon, by the end of the day, we'll take over all this area, and then we'll keep going, and we can beat the British that way. We can defeat them. So when they decided to attack, it came very suddenly, and the Sikh regiment that was there, they realized what was going on, and they decided finally that we have a few choices right now. We are 21 people, and we could see clearly because they were positioned in a way that they could see. They could see that there's thousands and thousands of soldiers coming. So they had a few options. One was to surrender. One was to run away. and another was to fight, which probably, if you look at it logically, doesn't make a lot of sense, because how can 21 people do muqabla of 10,000, right? Or 8,000 or however many thousand. We don't even know how many thousand there were. It was a lot, okay? So गिनती ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਫਰਕ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਨੇ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਕੀਤਾ led by ਹਵਲਦਾਰ ਈਸ਼ਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਕਿ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਹੋਏ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਜੋ ਸਾਡੀ ਡਿਊਟੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਿਭਾਉਣੀ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ whatever we're meant to do, we're going to do that job, and our job is to protect this killa, and if nothing else, we'll make sure we put up such a great fight that they won't be able to just walk over us, right? So their goal was to slow this army down as much as they could, and as somebody mentioned, what a battle that shouldn't have even taken half an hour ended up taking 4 or 5 hours by the time they finally defeated them, right? So this movie is about that. And I'm not spoiling anything by telling you that, because this is history. Everyone knows what happened. Maybe, if you've studied this history, you'll know the history. But I'll tell you, the reason I would recommend seeing this movie is, even though I knew about this battle, when you watch it in the form of a movie, you never forget it. ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਕਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਭੁੱਲਾਂਗਾ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਦਿਨ ਸੀਗਾ, ਕਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਲ ਸੀਗਾ, all those things I'll never forget now. By the way, does anyone know what day that battle happened? Because in Britain, they have so much respect for that Sikh regiment, they still celebrate that day in UK. It's called Saragadi Day. What day is that? Does anyone know on the calendar? Yeah?
I think September 12th.
September 12th, absolutely right. September 12 ਨੂੰ ਹਰ ਸਾਲ ਉਹ ਦਿਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ, like a kind of like a remembrance day, especially for those soldiers. And what year did it happen in? Does anyone know? Anybody else? Let's see another hand.
1829.
No, a little bit later than that. Yeah. Under Armour?
1898.
Close. 1897. Okay? So if you see this movie, you will probably never forget this day again. You will remember it the way we remember the Khalsa Sajna Divas, right? Vaisakhi of 1699, and we know the birth of Guru Nanak Sahib Ji when he came into this world, 1469. The same way, this date is etched in my memory now, September 12th, 1897, because what these Singhs did, I can't describe to you in words, but they showed it very well in the movie. The spirit that they showed, we call that Sikhi Siddha. It's a spirit, a fighting spirit, a warrior spirit, that it doesn't matter what you have to face, you don't back down. If you're fighting for the right thing, then you fight till the end. You don't give up. And that's what these soldiers showed. And it's not easy showing this in a movie, but I think they did a very good job. Like I said, it's not perfect, but definitely, I would give it probably like a 7 out of 10, which is good. I don't give easy marks to movies. And I was thinking it might be a 3 or a 4. I was a little bit worried that ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਖਾਣਗੇ, but I would say with confidence now that if you're a Sikh, you'll leave there feeling proud to be a Sikh, and if you're not a Sikh, you will leave there with more respect for the Sikh community after you watch that. And I can see that in the comments, the reviews, and I've seen many comments by Hindus and other people saying, we respect our Sikh brothers so much, and we didn't know about this, and now it just gives us even more respect for them. So that's a good thing, right? So I just thought I'd share that with you, and I really recommend if you go with your family, it's a good thing to do. I'll tell you, in my family, I went with my dad. My mom didn't want to see it. It may not be for everyone. Let's face it, it's about war, okay? And my mom said straight up, when she found out it was about war, she's like, that's not my thing. ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕੋਈ ਮੂਵੀ ਕੁੱਟ ਮਾਰ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰਨ ਬਾਰੇ ਉਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਚੰਗੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦੀ. So, but the thing is, the amazing thing about it is, even though it's a war movie, the way they made it okay for everyone to watch is they have a lot of humor. Kafi of jokes are in it. Is that right, Harman? Right? Yeah. And they showed this is a part of the Sikh spirit, that even if you're in a bad situation, never lose your sense of humor. Even when they're being attacked, even when they were surrounded and it looked like for sure they have no koi chara nahi on, they're finished, but they were still laughing till the end and cracking jokes. So that was nice to see. And the other thing is, they showed the human element. It wasn't just a bunch of battle scenes. Even though the war scenes, or the fighting scenes are very good, they're kind of like Matrix. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. A lot of slow motion, CGI. And sometimes, some people like that. Some people think it makes it look artificial. But I thought that the fighting scenes are pretty good. But I'm glad that it wasn't 2.5 hours of fighting scenes, because that would be too much, right? So they showed how these soldiers, they have families that they left behind. They miss their family. They haven't seen their family in so long, and they don't know if they're ever going to go home again, when they're going to go home. Their family doesn't know when they're going to come home, right? Their husbands and brothers and sons. And so, and the way the movie started, I don't know if that actually happened, but it shows that Sikhs care about others. Because the first scene in the movie, there's a woman being picked on by some fanatical, like a mullah, is like a person, like a religious person, like an Islamic religious person. And of course, I'm sure not all of them are like that, but many of them, they like to impose their religion on others, and they made this lady's life miserable just because she didn't want to stay with her husband. So that is a reality, okay guys? Unfortunately in this world, many communities really disrespect and mistreat their women, right? Including in India, okay? And so they showed that when the Sikh saw this, he couldn't take it. Even though he was risking his own life, he could not turn a blind eye. He couldn't say, oh well, and the British commander, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗੋਰਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਇਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਲੜਾਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ ਤੇ ਤੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ. And it was burning up so much inside of him that we have to care about others and help others, that he went and he fought against a bunch of Pathans just to save this lady. So like little things like that, it shows you the kind of respect that we should have for our ancestors and our Sikh tradition, our martial tradition, right? We are great warriors. There are a lot of great warriors in history. There was Attila and the Huns. There were the Vikings. But what you'll find is it's easy to fight to the death, but how many people have honor, a sense of honor? And that's what they showed, is that Sikh people, they weren't just good at killing people, but they were willing to sacrifice their own life to help others, right? For the sake of justice, for the sake of a higher cause. So I wanted to touch on that for sure. I hope you get a chance to see it. I don't know how long it'll keep playing. It'll probably be definitely, at least another week or so. But don't wait. And you know what? Honestly, guys, I know sometimes we say, I'll just download it. There are two reasons you shouldn't do that, okay? First of all, we want to support the filmmakers. If we give this a good response, guess what? They might make more movies about Sikh history, right? Animation. Why did they make a part 2? Because part 1 did very well. People went, they watched in the theater, they supported it, so they said, hey, this makes sense, let's make another one, right? And now they're going to make something else, right? That company is going to keep making more movies because we supported it. So the same way, in Bollywood, they will make more movies about our history if we support it. The other thing is, you can't get a proper appreciation for this movie watching on a small TV, right? I don't care even if you have a 70-inch screen, right, or a 60-inch screen. It's not the same thing as seeing it on a huge theater, right? With the sound effects and everything, that really makes you feel like you're there. So I encourage you to go see it. That's one thing I want to touch on. Anything else going on that anybody else knows about that want to share? In the news, anything? All right. Okay. Yes. You got what? Oh yes, class sizes. Yeah, that's true. Yep. The conservatives want to make some changes to our education system, so it remains to be seen whether those changes are good or bad. We'll see. But every new government, they come in and they make changes. That's the way it goes, right? I was thinking of something else. It was something that happened in Quebec. It's happening, and it relates to our community. Does anybody know what's going on there? There was a bill that was passed. How does it affect us? Does anyone know? The reason it affects us is the party that's in power right now are very nationalistic, means that they care definitely about French culture, but they don't seem to have a lot of respect for anybody else, specifically immigrants, and we fall in that category. So they are passing a bill which will prevent anybody from working in a government position, in many government positions, like judges, lawyers, attorneys, things like that, many high-ranking positions, if you have anything that shows that you're part of a particular religion. So if you're wearing a hijab, or you're wearing a dastar, a pag, right, a turban, you cannot have a government job. Okay? Can you believe that? We're in 2019. Can you believe that? Seems like something out of the 1950s or the 1960s, right? What is happening right now today, it is a clear case of discrimination. If it's not racism, then it's definitely still religious discrimination. They want to prevent people from being able to follow their religion if they have a government job. So as you can see, I don't know how anybody with a conscience can think that this is okay to do in Canada. But unfortunately, many people are supporting this. So the reason I wanted to mention this, guys, is you are the future, the young people here. You have to create awareness about who we are. Things like this happen when people don't know who Sikhs are, when they don't know that we care about others, when they don't know that we pray for Sarvata Pala, right? They don't know anything about us, so they say, you know what, you've come to Canada, you should forget who you are, give up your religion, and become Canadian. That's their definition, right? And unfortunately, that's not what we're willing to do, and we don't have to do that, because that's not what Canada's about. Canada says you come here, you can stay who you are, and you can still be a Canadian, and that's why so many Sikhs have come to Canada in the last 30 years, because of how welcoming we are, right? We have a great standard of living, but we also have the highest respect for other religions, right? Freedom of religion is protected very well in Canada. And now this is under threat. It's being attacked right now in Quebec. So I hope some people speak up, and you know, we need to stick together. And this is why it's important for us to be together with other religious communities and stand together with them, because if it affects one person or one community, it affects all of us. So even if, for example, even if they had said the turban is okay, but hijab is not, we should still be taking a stand against it. But in this case right now, they're saying no turban, no hijab, nothing like that, no, the skull cap that Jewish people wear, that's not allowed either, okay? And what they're doing is, it's called secularism, when you separate religion from politics. And I understand you don't want the way that the government is run to be affected by religion, but you shouldn't hate religion. And now it looks like they're actually hating religion, which is not good, right? And I think if we respect all religions, that's what Canada's about. And for example, they have a cross up in their in their parliament, and now they're taking the cross down. I'm not a Christian, but personally I don't have a problem with that, to tell you the truth, right? Why? It's a symbol of Shahidi, right? Christian people look at that and they remember Jesus, who gave his life, and that's their guru, right? So for me as a Sikh, it doesn't bother me if a cross is up somewhere, but for some reason they want to get rid of all these religious symbols because they think that'll be the best way to be inclusive. I don't think that's being inclusive, I think that's being discriminatory, right? And so we'll have to figure out how to deal with this. I hope a new government comes in and changes this, so we'll see what happens. But guys, we need to really do a better job of sharing who we are. And before we can do that, we have to, right? We don't even know ourselves. A lot of people, you know, I grew up not really knowing. I kept my hair because my parents told me to. I didn't really understand why. And I think many of you maybe are sitting in the same situation. And if there's something you don't know, the best thing to do is to ask. You have so many places you can ask. You can ask Harman Singh Virji, okay? You can ask your parents. You can ask other people you meet at Gurdwara, right? Maybe other Gursikhs, young Gursikhs, right? Like Jesse here, right? There's so many older brothers and sisters you have. But don't just sit there and do something because your parents tell you to, because eventually you're going to stop doing it, right? And we have an example, you know, and there are many examples like this, not just one, but in this class, you know, parents shared that with me, that their child was coming here, and eventually they got old enough, they didn't understand the importance of case, so they decided not to keep it anymore, right? So pata ki hunda parents ਨੂੰ ਦੁੱਖ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਉਹ ਮਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੁੱਖ ਲੱਗੇਗਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਇੰਨੇ ਸਾਲ ਆਪਣੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਕੇਸਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਾਂਭ ਕੇ ਰੱਖੇ ਨੇ ਇੰਨੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਾਲ, ਕੇਸੀ ਇਸ਼ਨਾਨ ਕਰਨਾ, ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਬੱਚਾ ਫਿਰ ਟੁੱਟਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ parents ਦੇ ਦਿਲ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਣਾ ਹੀ ਹੈ, ਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਦਿਲ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਣਾ, right? So it's a sad thing, but you can see these things coming up. ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ, right? All these signs, you can see them. you can see that our kids are not going to be caring about marrying other Sikhs, and they're going to marry other people, and they're going to forget their religion. We're going in that direction because we don't care who we are. We don't learn about who we are. It's sara kuch ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ hai. You don't have to be a genius to see where we're heading, right? So things like this class, guys, they should be happening at every Gurdwara, where you can come and learn in the language you're most comfortable in about your religion. Because Sikhi is too great to be contained by any particular language, even though Punjabis are maa boli. By the way, another great movie to watch is Gurduara. Okay, it's not about Sikhi, but it is about maa boli. It is about Punjabi. The old one movie khatam ho gaya, but you can obviously probably buy it or rent it. And I would also recommend watching that with your family. It's a good movie, right? Called Gurdwara. And what is it about? That people in Punjab are so crazy about learning English that they've started hating Punjabi. Okay? And this is not just in Punjab. Ithe bhi ho raha hai. Okay? And let me tell you something. I'm glad if you're good at English. I'm glad if you appreciate English. By the way, this is a sad reality of our children these days. They can't speak Punjabi or understand it very well, and they're not even that good at English. So I don't even know what their main language is. When I talk to them in English, their grammar is so poor, their vocabulary is terrible, they're probably getting C's or B's in English, right? What Guru Sahib wants you to do is be an A Punjabi student and an A English student, right? You should know both languages, right? But you don't say, this whole world is English, so I don't need Punjabi anymore, right? That's the biggest mistake you can make. Because if you do that, you're walking away from Sikhi. If you don't continue learning Punjabi, if you break that link, you will probably not become, you will not stay within the Sikh faith. You will not raise your children to be Sikhs. You may not marry a Sikh. And maybe these things don't matter to you, but one day they will. One day you'll look back with regret and say, you know what, when my parents were telling me to learn Punjabi, I probably should have learned Punjabi. And I can tell you, I'm an example of that. Because when I was a kid and my parents told me to learn, I didn't care about it. And luckily, when I grew up, it was embarrassing. I was like an 18-year-old sitting in a class with 6- and 7-year-olds. But I'm glad I did that because I said, if I give up now, I'm going to lose Sikhi. I'm going to lose it, and I don't want to lose it. So I made the effort, but you know what? The earlier you start, the better. You don't have to wait till you're 18, because it's not easy. When you hit high school, you get lots of work. It gets harder and harder. Then comes university or college. Then comes you get a job, you get married. One time is Sikhanda time. If you're in before high school, that's the best time to learn. If you give it 6 months or 1 year, you can be set for the rest of your life. Then you will have that skill and you will be able to share it and pass it on to your children. Do you think that's a good thing if we can pass on our language and our religion to our children? What do you think? Anybody? Is that a good thing or not? Yes or no? Anji ke na ji? Changi gal hai ke nahi? I think it is. If you look at the success of the Jewish community, it's because even the Jews who are not religious, they care about their qawm, their community, and their language, right? They go to Hebrew school. They learn to read the Torah, right? The Granth hai ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਉਹ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੱਡੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਇਹ ਕੌਮ ਹੈ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਘੱਟ ਹੈ they're strong, they're powerful, they have money, they have their own country because they care about who they are. They have value for Jewish identity. Do we have value for Sikh identity? We should, because it's one of the best identities in the world. Can you tell me another identity that has so much respect for women, for human rights, for justice, for equality, for love? I don't know. I compared every other religion I found, and the message I found in Sikhi, I didn't find it anywhere else. So before you throw away or turn your back on Sikhi, you better look at what you're turning your back on. Because it is if you want to live your best life, Sikhi will help you get there. The best version of you is sitting inside of you, and Sikhi will bring it out. You will become the most loving, strongest, kindest, most successful person you can be if you bring Guru Sahib into your life. And if you turn your back on Guru Sahib, forget being successful. I don't care how much money you make, how many friends you have, how famous you become, you will be a failure. A complete and utter failure. And you'll realize that one day. When you're sitting in your great big house, with a big bank account and the Mercedes and the Beamer in your driveway, you'll go, what? What is this? What is all this worth? What does it give me? Right? So I'm not saying those things are bad, but make sure we have our priorities in order. Okay, Guru Sahib dasde ne ke there are two types of wealth, right, in this world. We all want wealth, don't we? Everyone wants to be rich. Onu kehne ne Punjabi vich dhan, right? Do qisam de dhan ne. Ek dhan hai asli aur sacha. Ek hai nakli ya kacha, right? And Guru Sahib tells us the whole world is chasing after fake wealth. What's fake wealth? The kind you will leave here. It won't go with you. I don't care how much you have, all of it is going to stay right here. Real wealth is what goes with you. And what is that? Anyone know? Namtan. Right? The love we have for God, God's name, that's what's going to go with us, the only thing that's going to go with us. So Guru Sahib eh sanu sandesh dinde ne ke hey bhai, hey brother, hey sister, make sure you're using your life for the right thing. Do you have to make money? Of course. You can't live in this world without money. These are the two most foolish people in the world, okay? The person who doesn't respect money is a fool, and the person who worships money is a fool also. So make sure you're not in those two categories. If you don't respect money, you're going to get kicked around in life because we need money in this world. But just because you respect it doesn't mean you should worship money, because there are things way more important in this world than money. And we've forgotten that. The Punjabi community has forgotten that. For us, we have made money our God. Okay? All we care about now is having a big house and an awesome, beautiful, the most expensive car and the best phone and all those things. And we don't care about seva or kirtan or satsangat or path or cheejan si sariyan bhul gaye. Right? So this is the time to wake up, guys. And Guru Sahib tells us in such a clear way, and we shouldn't forget that. And I'll leave with this pankti. We'll do Simran for a couple of minutes while we think about this. And what it means is, and I'll look it up right now and I'll put it up on the screen for you. Who is wealthy in this world, guys? Guru Sahib tells us. Say Tanvant. Can you guys repeat after me? Say Tanvant. Har naam live lie. And I'll put it up for you and you can look at it and see what it means. Say Tanvant. Those people are wealthy. Har naam live lie. Look for yourself what it means. Those people are rich. Jede who focus on God's name. Jinnah ne naam japya, sat sangat ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਅਮੀਰ ਨੇ. ਇਹ ਨਾ ਕਹੋ ਕਿ ਜਿਹਦਾ bank account ਵੱਡਾ ਹੈ. Those people are rich who focus on God's name. I'll put it up on the screen. And let's think about this while we do Simran. It was in the Hukamnama day before yesterday. That's why it's important to read the Hukamnama. Okay, Sanu, we get diamonds sometimes by reading the Hukamnama. It's only 6 words, but look how important it is. Look how powerful it is. If you tattoo this or imprint it on your heart, your life will change. You'll have a completely different view of the world if you understand what true wealth is, what real wealth is. And Guru Sahib is telling us. You guys see it on the screen there? They alone are wealthy, who lovingly attune themselves to the Lord's name. In simple words, those people are wealthy who focus on God's name. Right? So I don't know about you, this is the type of wealth. The more you can collect, the better. So I'd like to collect some of this wealth. I hope you do too. So let's all sit in loving attention in a nice and comfortable but relaxed way. If you could sit up respectfully, ਚੌਂਕੜੀ ਮਾਰ ਕੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਸੁਰਤੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਟਿਕਾਈਏ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁਰਮੰਤਰ ਰਾਹੀਂ. And we're going to repeat this line a few times, then we're going to do Simran together. Koi na rasna avanji na rahe. Don't, please guys, God gave you a tongue to use to remember Him. So everybody please repeat so that you hear your own voice with your own ears, okay? Se Tanvant Har naam live laye. Se Tanvant Har naam live laye. से धनवंत हर नाम लिव लाए सारे किरपा करो जी वाहगुरु 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 Those people are wealthy who focus on God's name. Waheguru Ji, please bless us to realize the importance of remembering you. Please bless us to collect the real wealth by loving Kirtan, Path, Satsangat, Naam Simran, and Seva. May we use our life to collect wealth that will help us here and go with us. Nanak Naam, Jardi Kala, Tere Bhai, Sarvat Prabha. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you so much for your time and attention. A few announcements. I remember one that Jesse mentioned that I should mention to everyone. Big deal is April, the month of April. Does anyone know why it's a big deal? Singh?
It's Sikh Heritage Month.
Sikh Heritage Month, that's right. So Jesse Singh has mentioned to me, reminded me that we are having opening ceremonies for Sikh Heritage Month.
Yeah.
It's at Main and Queen at
Yeah,
the
Main and
intersection.
Okay.
Right? Free parking, underground parking in the weekends.
Yeah.
If you can, please do go and attend that. You can also go online if you Google Ontario Sikh Heritage Month. You can get the timetable of all the events that are going on this month. Most of them are free. Please take advantage. It's a big deal to live in a city and a province where they recognize our community. So let's support these events. It'll make us better, and it'll show the government that they should do more programs like this for our community. Sikh Heritage Month, I know it's not April 1st, but I'll say it in advance. And please, if you get a chance, go with your family to see the movie Kesari in the theater. What announcements, Jesse?
Oh, no, sir, no, sir.
Okay. And I have started skating classes. If anyone's interested to learn skating, I coach. Before we just used to do fun skate, but now I actually do drills. So if you want information about that, come and talk to me and I'll tell you. We're doing it at South Fletcher's tomorrow, which I think most of you know is beside Sheridan College, near Nanuksar, and Ray Lawson and McLaughlin. We're renting the ice at 12 o'clock and we'll do 1 hour of exercises, and we'll also teach you how to skate. Even if you don't know any skating, we've got good teachers, people like Raj and his sister. They will help you to learn how to be a good skater. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the class. Waheguru ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru ji ki Fateh.